Good day. My name is Sunette Steynberg, and I will be your presenter on maximizing research impact, identifying a journal to publish in. The topic of maximizing your research impact is quite an extensive one. I will therefore address the following subtopics under it in a series of presentations. In the first presentation, I looked at the number of author profiles, their benefit, and how to create them. In this presentation, we will look at how to select a highly ranked accredited journal to publish in. I will also show you how to identify open access journals. Thirdly, we will cover an individual author citation analysis, which you can then apply to your own research to determine your research footprint. This will also include altmetrics. Lastly, we will identify international authors to co-author with, which will definitely increase your research visibility. This then is the second presentation of 4. It will cover accredited journals, the ranking of journals in both Web of Science and Scopus. It will also explain how to select the best journal to publish in, including how to identify open access journals. This is the library homepage. From here, we will navigate to all resources. Firstly, I would like to talk about accredited journals, which can be found under Search. Accredited journals are recognized research output which meet specified criteria and therefore qualify for subsidization by the Department of Higher Education and Training. In order for your faculty, department, or research group to benefit from your publication, it is very important to publish in an accredited journal. The DHET have identified 6 lists of journals where South African researchers should publish in. They are the Web of Science Core Collection Journals, also called ISI, IBSS, and International Bibliography of Social Sciences, the DHET list, which consists of South African journals, the Norwegian list, CEHALO South Africa, another list of online South African journals, and the Scopus journal list. All of these are called accredited journals. In order to determine quickly whether the journal you would like to publish in is accredited or not, a single alphabetical list was created, where the arrow indicates, including all 6 lists. Now that you know the importance of an accredited journal, we can look at how to identify the best one for you to publish in. Journals can be evaluated and ranked in one of 2 databases or tools, namely the Journal Citation Reports and Scopus. In order to explain the tools better, I will illustrate 4 common scenarios. Firstly, you know what journal you would like to publish in, but need to evaluate it against others within the same research field. Let us use the Journal Citation Reports to start with. You can find both of the journal evaluation tools under databases in an alphabetical list. Firstly, the Journal Citation Reports is the list of Web of Science or ISI journals and will give you their ranking as an impact factor, which I will explain in the next slide. The journal impact factor is based on citations. It is the average number of times articles from a journal indexed in the Web of Science were cited over the past 2 years. The latest measured year was 2019, also called the JCR year. Because the impact factor is calculated over 2 years, it benefits fast-moving subject areas where articles are cited shortly after they were published. Therefore, arts and humanities are not included in the journal impact factors. My first example is the journal MIS Quarterly. Start by typing in the name of the journal in the search box. If the journal is available in the list, it will appear below the search bar. Select it from the box that appeared. The details of the journal will appear. On the right, you can see the categories where this journal is categorized in, namely management and information science and library science, both from the Social Sciences Citation Index. That is what the SSCI stands for. Just below on the left-hand side, you will see the impact factor of this journal. The fact that the impact factor is 5.37 does not tell you a lot. How would you know whether this is good, bad, or average? It is important to note that journal impact factors can only be compared within the same category. This is because citing practices varies from research field to research field. In order to understand what the impact factor of this journal means, let's compare it with the other journals indexed in management first. The journals are organized by impact factor. If one scrolls down, one can see that MIS Quarterly is number 23 on a list of 226 journals. The total I got by scrolling right to the bottom of the list. Being so high on this list of journals means that 5.37 is a very good impact factor for the category management. Now let's see what it means within the category of information and library science. It is the second highest journal on a list of 87 journals. I prefer to look at the quartiles rather than the impact factor of the journals, because the impact factor does not really tell me where the journal is lying within their subject category. If a journal lies within quartile 1, I know that it lies within the top 25% ranked journals of its subject category, or quartile 2 would lie within the top 50% of the subject category. By selecting only quartile 1 and quartile 2 on the left and click Submit at the bottom, I now only retrieve the top 43 journals of the list of 87. In case you would be interested in publishing in an open access journal, click as indicated on the left-hand side, and only the 6 open access journals of the list of 87 library and information science journals will appear. The top 2 are then quartile 2 journals, the next 2 quartile 3, and the bottom 2 are quartile 4 journals. The second scenario is that you require a list of journals within your subject category in order to select an appropriate one. You can either click on Browse by Category on the home page of Journal Citation Reports, or click on Categories by Rank. These categories are sorted by the number of journals within each category. This is not important. What is important is that by clicking on any of these categories, one will be able to see what kind of journals are categorized in that category. I selected energy and fuels. By reading what this category includes, I learned that if I were to be interested in nuclear energy and technology, I should rather select nuclear science and technology for my paper. Firstly, go back to Journals by Rank at the top of the page. Then click on the selected category and scroll right to the bottom of the page to find the Submit button. Immediately thereafter, the list of results will appear on your right. If you like, you could compile a combined list by adding nuclear science and technology to the energy and fields list. There might be an overlap of titles, and that is why the two numbers do not add up correctly. You can export the list to an Excel spreadsheet by clicking on the arrow at the top of the page. Please remember that these journals and impact factors are updated annually in June. So, do not continue to work from the same list year in and year out. The other tool that also covers journal rankings is Scopus. This is an indication of the distribution of subject areas within Scopus. Scopus is divided into 27 subject areas, including arts and humanities. Personally, I find Scopus a more inclusive database for all subject areas and categories. The calculation of the site score has recently been changed to a calculation over 4 years. Previously, the methodology was the same as for the journal citation reports, only using 3 instead of 2 years for the calculation. CiteScore 2019 now counts the citations to articles, reviews, conference papers, book chapters, and data papers published in 2016 to 2019 and divides this number by the number of publications published in 2016 to 2019. Now the journal considered for publication is known. Let's find out the rank on Scopus. Scopus can be found from the library website, alphabetical under databases, similar to the journal citation reports. Please follow the numbers on the arrows as I describe the contents of this slide. In order to find the particulars of a specific journal, click on Sources. Then submit the title of the journal. I selected a journal that one would not find on the journal citation reports, even though it is indexed in the Web of Science, because it is from the Arts and Humanities group. In Scopus, it is included in the metrics. You will see at arrow 3 that the site score is only 0.6. This seems to be very low. But if one look at the percentile score at arrow 4, you will see that this journal is number 75 on a list of 492 religious studies journals, which put it quite high within its research field. It is also interesting to consider the percentage of articles published in this journal that actually get cited, namely only 32%. If you would like to compare journals with one another, go back to the search page. There you will find a button on the right called Compare Sources. Access that and start comparing sources. Up to 10 journals can be compared here. Type in the name of the journal where the arrow indicates on the left and search. The result will appear under it as indicated in the right-hand box. See the cite score on the far right. I selected two popular journals to compare with PLOS One, namely Nature and Science. Both of these titles appear within many other titles, so one has to select the correct one from a list of results as indicated in the two boxes on the screen. On the right-hand side of the page, a chart will appear comparing the journals visually. Nature and Science are the two top journals in the list that cover the multidisciplinary area. They both have extraordinary high cite scores and should not be taken as the norm. Although PLOS One appears to be a poor journal against the other two, it features number 11 on the same list of 111 journals. A list of journals within a subject category is needed from Scopus. Click on Sources at the top of the page in order to create a list of journals within a subject category. Select Subject from the drop-down menu where indicated. Then, click on Enter Subject for a list of subjects to appear. Select one and the list of your choice will appear. I decided to create a list for mechanical engineering. There were 825 results organized in order of cite score, in other words, rank. Again, you can see the cite score of each journal, as well as the position within the list and the percentage of articles published in these journals that were actually cited. If you prefer to see only open access journals, click where the arrow indicates. Now there are 91 journals from the original 825 mechanical engineering journals. One could also filter the list to only retrieve titles from the top 10%, first, second, third, or fourth quartiles. You might also have noticed other metrics on the screens as we went through this presentation, such as the eigenfactor score in the journal citation reports and the SJR and SNP in Scopus. All of these metrics are normalizing metrics, which we will not cover in this presentation. Now we are getting to actually applying what was shown so far in the presentation, namely identifying the appropriate journal to match your article and to publish in. Firstly, conduct a search in any of your preferred databases on the topic of your research. Do not make your topic too narrow, or you will find too little results to work with. I chose Sustainable Development Goals as a topic and conducted the search in Scopus. Most databases will have the same features as I will illustrate here. Find the refining option on the results page. Scroll down until you find a list of sources where these results were published in. The numbers in the brackets indicate the number of journals in this results set that published in that particular journal. I selected the top 5 to have a closer look at. They were the journals that published most articles on this topic and would probably also be interested in my research. I checked for the following. Is the journal accredited? What is the impact factor or the site score? And what is the quartile? What is the category? I will only check the site score, percentile, and category in Scopus if the journal does not appear on the journal citation reports. But then you need to do this for all your journals that you are investigating, seeing that you cannot compare the journal impact factor with the site score, as the methodologies that they were calculated with differs. I will quickly run through some screenshots of the results before I show you a table in which I have captured my results. Firstly, I will check whether these 5 journals are all accredited according to the accredited journal lists as explained right at the beginning of this presentation. If not, I will discard the journal title and not even investigate it further, because then it is not an option to publish in. I checked for the journal impact factor in the journal citation reports and found that it was 2.56 for the journal Sustainability, the one that published most articles on my topic. At the top of the page, I can see that this journal is indexed in both environmental sciences and green and sustainable science and technology. And if I hover over either of the categories, the coverage of that category appears below it. On the right-hand side of the page, I can even see that this is an open access journal. In order to determine the quartile of the journal within its category, you will have to click on the category to view all journals within that category to be able to compare them. Sustainability is number 53 on a list of 123 environmental sciences journals, placing it in quartile 2. Within the other category, Green and Sustainable Science and Technology, there are only 8 journals. The journal Sustainability is now in the 6th place, placing it in quartile 3 of this category. Within Scopus, you will find the answers under Sources at the top. Make sure to select Title at the drop-down menu at arrow 2. The short results are at the bottom of the page, giving the site score, percentile, and subject category. For more details, click on the title Sustainability. Here you will see all the subject areas for this journal, but more importantly, if you scroll down, you will see the rank of this journal within each subject area. This is my checklist to make sure I've looked at everything in order to select the best journal to publish in. In the left column, I have the journals that publish mostly on my topic. The second column shows whether the journal is accredited and in what list. The third title is actually a series and not a journal, and therefore not in the accredited journal list. This disqualifies it. The journal Lancet is impressive with an impact factor of 60.392, but if you are not from the medical field, it is of no use to try to publish in that journal. Both the first and last journals are open access journals, and would be a good general choice, especially as far as visibility is concerned. Together with a highly ranked journal, an open access one is a winning combination for maximizing your research impact. I would strongly recommend that you go through this exercise before you start to write the article. Each journal has their own instructions to authors. If you know who your audience is and what the instructions of the journal are, you might save a lot of work later and get it right the first time around. Finally, there are publishers that offer assistance to identify the perfect journal for your article. By simply submitting your journal title and abstract to the URLs on this slide, Elsevier or Springer will identify one of their journals that matches your topic. I hope you found this useful and will also watch the following 2 presentations in this series of maximizing your research impact.